Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a great day so far. Early in the morning here, and ready to do is kind of sort out what you're going to do for the day. And hopefully, you have a good day.
Yeah. So, welcome to Coffee Moments with Mike and Jayeglenda. We're happy that you're here. And let's start off with our jingle. Ready?
Okay.
Sip, smile a lot. Coffee moments hit the spot. We hope it does for you, whatever your beverage that you're having.
And always have you have first cup coffee, no conversation.
Yeah, we have to wait till he's on his second cup before he'll do anything.
I have to remind her sometimes because she just starts talking and whoa, hold on. Okay.
Women do talk more than men, though.
The first cup isn't done. Yeah, but I think a lot of women would agree with me too. That
I cannot talk to him until he has his first cup of coffee.
Yeah, you put that in the comments in that.
Yeah, Mike wants to know: will you talk to anybody before your first cup of coffee, men or women?
You just have to sort things out. You know, I mean, Glenda wakes up and she's talking right away, and it's like, no, can't do that.
Yeah, he usually lets me sleep in so that he gets his first cup in before I wake up.
But we were talking about before we come on the talk about jobs that we we had, or what we wanted to do when we
we're young,
got older, and back in the this is back in the mid '70s, the big CB era. I wanted to be a truck driver.
Oh, are you kidding me?
And,
you want to be a truck driver?
And then if you saw me drive, you're lucky if I can drive a pickup truck, let alone an 18-wheeler.
You're a good driver. You just don't know how to park. Well, I shouldn't say that.
I know. I do know how to park.
Yeah, you're good at parking. But
the parking lots, I have more trouble with those versus parallel parking.
Parallel parking is good.
But I had multiple.
So you really wanted to be a truck driver?
Yeah, I had multiple jobs, and I think it was just the that era of the CB era and all that. I just kind of got hooked into that era, and I remember my dad helping me put an antenna on a house for the CB, and so it was an interesting time.
We had one of those too in our house, but
it never never materialized. And then I said, okay, I'll go into service, and then they says, we're not going to take you. That one eye is too bad. So when you're taking you, because if you lost a good eye, then you'd be screwed.
So what was your first job?
Just yard cleanup, which I'm still doing at 63. As a yard cleanup, guy was paying us, I think, $2 or something like that.
Oh my!
And
you caddied too. You were a caddy too. Yeah. He was always finding some work. He was a caddy, and you ran errands. You said for the older neighborhoods, you would run out and get them groceries.
I wasn't a good caddy.
That's so funny. So you want to know what my job was?
What's that?
Okay, so I always wanted, in first grade, I remember in first grade, the teacher went around the room and she asked everybody to stand by their desk. I still remember this like it was yesterday. That's crazy. And she said, stand by your desk and tell everybody what you want to be. And all the boys in the room, and I wrote this in my book. So all the boys in the room stood up and they either wanted to be firemen, policemen, stuff like that, or doctors. So anyways, I stood up and I said, I want to be a nurse. I never changed that. I always wanted to be a nurse. Nobody ever told me I could have been a doctor. Nobody in my immediate family went to college, right? Now, of course, we've had a lot of people, obviously, but back in the day, nobody in mine. It was just something that wasn't really like presented. And so being a nurse was a big stretch. So, and I'm glad I did that. Because I was able to like have a family, and I had more chances to do other things that I wanted to do. And I could also be a nurse. So instead of it, encompassing like all of my time. So it actually was a really good choice for me. But anyways, I did that. So that, and I actually got hired by Disney when I was in high school. So I had a cousin who lived in Orlando, and she is really close to me. I'm still close to her, but now she moved. But anyway, and my aunt lived there. And so in the summertime, my parents said, we know how much you love Disney. Why don't you go down with, down to Florida and see if you can stay there and hang out, because my cousin was an only child and we were around the same age. You can hang out with Kathy and have a good time, and on your days off you can go to Disney. It wasn't that expensive then, and you could go to SeaWorld and other places like that. And there you go. They had half an eye. Anyways, and then so you can go down. So I did, and I was going to be down there for the whole summer. And so we were hanging out on our days off. She only worked part-time in high school and things. And so my mom says, well, why don't you make some money while you're down there? You can work at Disney with your cousin. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea. So I went to the Disney and auditorium or whatever, and they were having like casting call or whatever you want to call it, like to sign up to be for Disney. And they actually said, oh, you have a outgoing personality. You would be great as one of our characters. Now, they never said what character, but they said you would be really good, like as a character actress, I guess, or whatever, like one of the, I guess, I don't know, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse. I don't know what they would have picked. But anyways, but their hiring process was quite long. You have to go to even back then, and this was when I was in high school, you had to go through their like academy or like their training program at Disney. And by the time that the training program would have been done, I would have been back home and going back to school again. So I never was able to work for Disney, but I actually got hired, and I decided not to go through the training because by the time the training was all over, I would have been back home with my parents and back in high school again. So I wasn't able to ever work for Disney, but they actually did hire me to go, and I was so excited. But then when I found out how long that you have to train before you actually can start to work, it wouldn't have worked out. So I did another job. I came back and I worked at a car wash collecting the money. You remember those old-fashioned car washes where you would put the car on the conveyor belt and then there was like windows and you could like watch your car getting washed as it went, and then at the end you would pay at the end and the guys would dry it off for you.
Right.
Those old-fashioned car washes. Well, I was the girl at the end that would collect the money. And all my high school friends were all the guys that would dry off the cars when they came out of the end of the car wash there. So I did that. My mom actually had to sign. Do you remember this? If you worked before you were, I think 16 back in the day, your parents had to sign a paper and you to take it to your principal that you were allowed to work because you had to have a work release from your high school if you were under 16. So my mom filled it out that I wanted to work on the weekends at this car wash, and my principal had to sign for it because I wasn't 16 yet. Now, do you know McDonald's is hiring? I think all the fast food places, they can't find help. I think it's 13. You can work full time at 13 years old, I think. I know you can work at 13. You don't need your principal or nobody to sign anything. They just need people to work these jobs. And maybe they're not allowed to work full time. That I'm not sure about. But they're 13.
Probably a number of hours.
Yeah, I think probably they put a limit on their hours. But they're 13 years old and you can go out and get a job. Now, when I did that, it was a big deal to work if you were under 16. But now it's so much younger. It's crazy how things change.
Yeah.
But I never changed that. I wonder how many of my classmates actually did what they said in first grade that they were going to do. How many of them? I mean, you think about it. When kids go off to college, they go in as one major, and then, the second year into college, they decide they're going to change their major, and, they come out with an entirely different degree in a different direction for their lives that they didn't think they were going to do initially when they went into college.
Yeah.
So I think that it's kind of crazy that I did not change since first grade. I never changed what I wanted to do. So I think that's pretty, different. And there's not many people that can say that they never changed what they wanted to do. So
yeah, I think that also in high school I went to trade school.
I didn't know that. What did you go to trade school?
For carpentry.
Oh, that's why he's so good.
Then in the at that time it was 1980, 81. Interest rates were like 18% for a home loan. So they weren't doing much building back then. So I didn't go for that. But again, a lot of options.
They still have that. I think most of the high schools still have VOTech.
Yeah.
I think it's called VOTech in most of the places. It's called VOTech. So like when you get to high school, if you're not thinking about going to college, you can go half a day to high school to meet your requirements, and the other half the day you can go to learn a bunch of different trades and things like that. And I think that's a great option. It gives the kids a jump start with what they want to do if college really isn't something that they're interested in.
Yeah, I think the trade school, as far as it's good, good paying jobs, and a lot less than what college is.
Yeah. But I still am sad that I never got to work in Disney. That would have been, although everybody says once you work there, it's not the same. You should never work where you play. Did you ever hear anybody say that? They always say that. Don't work where you play, because once you create what your fun is into a job, then it's not as fun anymore. You see the other perspective of things and it's not as fun anymore. So maybe it was a blessing that I never got to work at Disney. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't like it as much. I don't think so. My girlfriend works at Disney. She works on the Emporium on Main Street, and she has a part-time job now that she's retired, and she still loves Disney. That's the reason she works there. She loves it. She loves working at Disney. She loves being there. So I don't know. I'd probably be one of those people like her. Like no matter what, I just give me more time in the parks and with the people, and I think I'd enjoy that.
Yeah,
So.
I know some of the people that go down there that are retired and will spend the summer down there or over the winter and work the whole time in Disney. So it's a great, good opportunity. As far as a little extra cash, and they do treat you well.
Yeah, I think I've heard that too. So, anyways, so I guess that's it for today. So, did you ever have what was your first job you've ever had? Were you like me, and did you stick with what you said early in your life and actually see it all the way through to do what you were thinking when you were just a little kid? Or did you change and are doing something entirely different now than what you had originally thought you would be doing? So, drop it in the comments and let us know. That'd be fun to see what everybody, which direction that you turned. I know some kids turn 2 or 3 times. The parents are about to, pull their hair out because they just keep adding on more classes and it feels like they'll never finish. So that's kind of frustrating.
Well, yeah, but you gotta give them credit for the determination and dedication
and sticking with it and not giving up, whatever your dreams are. I mean, this was something that I thought I would want to do for a long time, and I'm happy to be doing it. I'm happy you guys are here with us for our journey and our ride. Did you notice that we're getting better with the thumbnails and hopefully our backdrops? If you look at our first videos we ever posted, it's really funny. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Hang in there with us. We're having a lot of fun learning. This is all new to us. And until tomorrow, have a wonderful day.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care. Have a great one.
Take care, everybody.